Today we're going to be out on the Ohio Adventure Trail. The Ohio Adventure Trail is known as the GOAT, the Great Ohio Adventure Trail. The GOAT is the first route developed for adventure motorcycles and overland travel to span Ohio from the Ohio River to Lake Erie. The GOAT is a scenic journey for adventure motorcycles and overland vehicles that uses dirt, gravel, and public roads to traverse the remote and less visited parts of Ohio, passing through many small towns, state parks, and historic sites along the way. It is a 1,100-mile route primarily used for township roads, forest roads, and rural county byways that lead riders from the Ohio River to Lake Erie while staying entirely inside Ohio's borders. It passes through 29 counties, 12 state parks and forests, and all 3 units of Wayne's National Forest. Along the way, you'll encounter many places of historic significance which make up Ohio's storied past and a brilliant culture, including the John P. Parker House in Ripley, an important site on the Underground Railroad which marks the start of the trail. The trail is divided up into 10 different parts, and you can do them consecutive or just go out for the weekend and do a section at a time, however you would like to do it. You can also go out and you can just pick the trail up somewhere, and then you can travel till you decide to get off of it, which is what we're doing today.
Wheels on the blacktop rolling.
When I started out for this section of the Ohio Adventure Trail, I didn't know that it was going to end up being one of the most adventurous little bouts that I've had with mechanical issues.
Stars above can't guide me. Heartache lights my way. Love left behind still.
When you're out and you start having some kind of issue, don't let it get to you. You just got to try and figure out what's going on, what it's going to take to fix it, and overcome whatever obstacle is put out there for you.
We're all just travelers lost in time, endless highways chasing the ride.
The obstacle that ended up getting me was a little thing called a fuse. Now I carry fuses for just about everything in the Jeep. The only thing is that when you have a camper and you pull them out and you use them in a camper and you don't put them back in your Jeep, that's an issue. The way I decided to solve this problem is that once something goes in the Jeep, it doesn't come out of the Jeep for use somewhere else. It's going to be a thing. Once it goes in the Jeep, it's there to stay until it's needed in the Jeep, especially when it's something like a fuse. I went up to Ohio working, and we had really been working 6 days a week, and don't really have time to get out. And I finally had a chance to get out, and then it started happening, and the gremlins got in there, and first it got a little hot, but that wasn't too big of an issue. And then the Jeep completely quit running on me. It shut off and wouldn't start, wouldn't do anything. It turned over, but it wouldn't do anything at all.
Memories ease the pain. Oh, morning light won't heal me, nor the moonlight's gentle side.
When it quit running, the first thing you do is you try to start it, and when nothing happened, it's just sitting there spinning over and nothing. Then you start trying to figure out, okay, well, what's it going to be? And then when you start looking around and you finally find out that there's a blown fuse, you go, no big problem. I'll just go get it out of the back of the Jeep. And you start go and open the box up and look where your fuses are. And guess what?
I found your letter today in an old drawer of mine.
So I get lucky, and there's a local that come along, and I didn't get your name or anything, but man, I sure do appreciate it. Like I said, I would have done anything for a fuse, and you went all the way back, not once but twice, and got me a fuse to get me back on the road.
Oh, I remember the promise that under the stars we'd stay. But now I just hold those memories as you're packing your bags away with a taste of whiskey and heartache.
The funny thing about it is you would think that's where it ends, but the bad part about a fuse is the fact that there's always a reason why it blew. It never fails. There's always that reason why it blew. And we got back on the trail and things were going good again. Everything was fine, but then guess what?
Made the world feel like home, but the winter came too soon, and your heart started to drift. You said,
you got to remember when it seems like all the chips are down and things are really bad. You just got to look at the obstacle and figure out how to get around it. And like I was saying, the fuse blew again.
I'll drink to what we used to be, but I'll keep our love in the shadows in these old photographs of you.
One of the nice things about these adventure trails is the fact that a lot of the area you can do on just any kind of car. It doesn't take anything special, no special requirements whatsoever, and you can go out and have a good time and see some of the country, and it doesn't matter whether it's the goat, the fat, any of them. It's all about getting out in the outdoors and seeing the country, and that's what these trails are all about.
That under the stars we'd stay, but now I just hold those memories as you're packing your bags away with a taste of whiskey and heartache. I'll drink to what we used to be, but I'll keep our love.
Just remember that on these adventure trails that they do have their tough spots that can make it impossible for a stock vehicle, and you're going to need something to get through it. There are areas like that, and that there are areas where you have no cell reception, and that if you didn't download your map, you're not going to have your access to your maps and everything, so your nav system in your car and stuff won't work. But if you download that map ahead of time and have your trail marked, then you'll have your maps even when you don't have cell reception. When I'm out, I run a total of 3 different ones, and the one I use the most is on X. It provides me the information on the property around me, as well as on the trail, and it just kind of keeps you up to date on where you're going, even when Google is gone. But you can download your maps in Google too. So when you're planning your trip and you're downloading your maps and everything, you might even want to take a look and see what's in your vehicle as far as supplies. And when I say supplies, I'm talking about things that you might need, like fuses. If you like the video, how about giving it a thumbs up? And if you're not a subscriber, how about subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell there? That way you'll know when the next video comes out. Saying, when that local went back home and got me a fuse and brought it back to me, I didn't have any spares. It was grateful that he had helped me out and went and got a fuse and come back, and I could get back on the trail. And what's the chance of it blowing again? But as I found out, it did. And he's not around, and once again I'm sitting in the woods with no fuse. This, I'm not going to say that it's the worst trip ever. What I'm going to say is it was just added to the adventure. So now I'm sitting back on the trail. The Jeep will turn over, but it won't start, and I know it's the fuse. At least I know what's going on now. Not a mystery at all, just a thing of how am I going to get a fuse. So what's the best way?
He says, strap yourself in, won't you, lonesome cowboy, and get ready for the rodeo of your life.
One of the things that you got to remember is that you're never without a fuse. You got a whole box right there under the hood full of fuses. It's just a matter of which ones are necessary and which ones are expendable. And now you're into the last resort, because now you're sacrificing things to get back on your way. Part of the adventure trail that I was wanting to do today is about the third part, and it runs through Mohican State Forest. They're here in Ohio.
He says, strap yourself in, won't you, lonesome cowboy, get ready for
Now it takes you back by the Spire Tower that I've got a video on, and about the covered bridge, and I didn't get any video of that or anything on this particular trip, but I did want to mention that it went by there. But I went by a very unique place, which was an old mill and one of the local homesteads that was in the area back in the 1800s, and kind of give you an idea of what it was like back in the 1800s here in Ohio. One of the things that they had sitting there at the homestead was a sawmill, so you could see how they cut their wood and pretty much cut everything up for the barn and that kind of thing for the homestead.
Getting hit so bad I'm struggling to cope. Only thing that I know is that I need to keep holding on.
Now another thing that's nice about the adventure trail is the fact that there are campsites along the way that you can stay, and I believe the Ohio Adventure Trail is about I want to say it's about a 6 or 7 day total trip is what they're saying. 1,100 miles, so you know, you go at your own pace, so it doesn't matter what somebody else did it at. You can do it as fast or as slow as you want.
Keep holding on, some cowboy, you'll be right. Lonesome cowboy, good times round the corner. Lonesome cowboy.
When I was down south in Waynes National Forest, I run across some of the adventure bikers down there, and they were at the Moonville Tunnel, and it goes pretty close to the Ohio Adventure Trail. There goes pretty close to the Moonville Tunnel, if not right by the Moonville Tunnel, and that's another part of the adventure trail here that is pretty unique.
Don't let her stray in your hands. Our love forever may stay. At the break of dawn, when the roosters cry.
Well, now let's get back to my little adventure to add to the adventure, and I finally started pulling fuses so I could continue on, and trying to figure out what fuses were the same size, because when you do this, if you've got a 20 amp fuse, you don't want to pull a 30 amp fuse and use that. You have to find something that's 20 amps or less, and you hope that if it's less, that they oversize that fuse for, you know, for something, not to make it work all the time. They've got it fused for that 20 amps, and you're using a 5 amp. You're hoping that it runs at 5 amps or less so that it doesn't blow the fuse.
God keep her safe, let our love be true. In the silent moments, she'll know I love you. We walk through fields where the wildflowers bloom, under the moonlight.
It was a 25 amp fuse that blew, and there's 5 of them in the Jeep, and I was trying to figure out which ones were needed and which ones weren't, and the one that blew is a automatic shutoff switch that shuts it down, and that's why it wouldn't do anything except turn over.
Ever start to blow, I'll hold on tighter, won't ever let go, 'cause I believe in this love we've grown.
I would later find out that the thing that caused it to blow was the coil pack. Somehow it had shorted out on a bracket, and the connector had broke, and it didn't make a miss or anything. The Jeep was still running fine, but I guess it drew more current than what it needed, and it went ahead and blew that 25 amp fuse.
Sunny days, got our hearts on love's winding ways. Got our hearts on love's winding ways.
Probably the proper thing to have done is when I first got it running again would have been to leave and go find an automotive store and Advance or Napa or something where I could pick up some fuses. I think you can even find fuses at Walmart, as much as I hate to say Walmart, but that probably would have been the proper thing to do. But you got to remember, it's Sunday. It's an hour's drive from Columbus to get up here, and I only had the one day off, and I was really wanting to do the trail. I'd been driving the Jeep and making, hadn't had any issues with it, and now all of a sudden it just, starts blowing. What's the chance of it keep blowing the fuses? Something's, it's gonna work. But you got to remember, now I'm sitting on the side of the trail. This is basically, it's fuse number 3, but it basically fuse number 2, because one of them I should have known better. I hadn't done anything at all except just pull the other fuse out and plopped it in, and of course it blew immediately. And so now I got it back in and it was running fine. So I'm thinking, okay, I've got it clear. So but now I'm back in the same jam as what I was. I guess at this point I ought to bring up that what I tell Cliff at Prodigy Off-Road. I've got to know my Jeep inside and out because of moments like this right here. I'm sure if I would have had cell phone service and I would have called Cliff and I would have said, "Hey Cliff, I'm up here in Mohican State Forest in Ohio. Can you come up here and figure out what's wrong with my Jeep?" I guess I would have got a big FU, wouldn't I? Oh, that's why I got to know this thing and be able to work on it to be able to get it back on the road. But if you're down in the Fort Myers area and you're having an issue with your Jeep, Cliff there owns Prodigy Off-Road, and that's a great place to go if you don't want to work on it, or you've got an issue that you can't figure out. You can stop by there and he can take care of you. So anyway, back to my my adventure, and that is I found a fuse that I pulled out and put another one in, and at a point where I had pretty much had one more fuse left in the fuse box that I could flop out. That's when I decided to pull it off the trail and kind of start heading back for Columbus. Now back to the start of this whole thing was following on X. I don't miss the trail too much, but when this whole thing started, I kind of just missed a turn and kind of looked on X, and I said, okay, I can go down here and make a loop and get back on the trail. And where I actually where the Jeep actually died, that was on that little loop that I was making to get back on the trail. So somehow I got off trail, broke down, and that's where the local come along, where he might not have come along if I was on the adventure trail. That local happened to come down that road that I was using to get back to the adventure trail. You know, it's funny how things work sometimes. Let me go ahead and give a big shout out to everybody down in Fort Myers, everybody at Hooters there in Fort Myers, and Cliff, and everybody with Prodigy and DD214, because you know, we moved to Missouri, and we kind of like it up here, but at the same time we still miss home. Anyway, back to my big adventure. So I finally got the Jeep going again, holding another fuse, and now I'm down to one of them in the fuse block there that I need just about everything in there, but as I would later find out, there's one more 25 amp fuse that operates the door locks. And what's something that you don't really need when you're going down the road is the automatic door locks and windows and all that, because that is that circuit. And I blew one more fuse on the way back to the motel room, and that was the fuse that I stole in hopes of getting me back to Advanced Auto Parts where I could pick up a fuse. I made it back into Columbus on that last fuse, and I made it by Advanced Auto Parts, and Advanced was already closed for the day. And I went on back to the motel room and figured I'd go to work the next day, and when I got off, I'd stop by Walmart and see if I could find a fuse. Needless to say, I made it back. I made it to work. I got me some more fuses, and I had no, once I had fuses, I had no issues again with it whatsoever. Of course, I replaced all the 25 amp fuses that I had stolen out of my fuse block, and I had extras in the Jeep. And I said that when I got back that I would have extras for the extras. And I it's funny because I had and still have not had any more issues with that fuse blowing. Now when I say that I have not had any more issues, I'm talking about I ended up driving from Ohio back to Missouri, which was a 9-hour drive. The whole time I was worried that I was still going to have an issue because I really hadn't found what it was that was blowing the fuses. All I knew was that it was running, and it had been, it had continued to run. It seemed like it was for about 2 weeks, and had not had any issues with it, and ended up making it all the way from Ohio back down to Missouri. And I just kind of got in there, taped up the wiring harness, and I ended up replacing one of the connectors for the coil packs, and because it was broke, and I kind of figured that that's what it was causing it to blow, was that coil pack had a weak point in the connection, and it was overheating and pulling that extra amperage to trip it out. So if something happens, just you got to overcome the obstacle. But if you're in Ohio or you're looking for a place to go, the Goat is a great adventure trail to get up and do. I want to come back and pretty much do the whole adventure trail and all 1,100 miles of it, and see the other sites, because this little section that I did here, it was just awesome. Don't forget, if you haven't done it yet and you like the video, how about giving it a thumbs up? And if you're not a subscriber, how about subscribing to the video and hit that notification bell there, and that'll let you know when the next video comes out. And just go out and adventure. I just want to say thanks for watching, and if you're around one of these adventure trails, these adventure trails are great. Like I said, it doesn't take anything special to do them. A lot of them are kind of designed for the adventure bikes, but the Overlanders are doing them. It's going to tell you what kind of trails you're on, and there's a lot of history, and you get to see what the particular area is like, and you've got other people that have seen something, or even finding good places to eat along the trail, and it gives you a way to get out and make your own adventure. And they all aren't bad. You'll have good ones and bad ones. Some of them are worse than the others, but I don't think there's ever anything that you could sit back and say was a bad experience, because like that saying that's going around now is but did you survive? And that's what we got to do, is we got to survive and make it for the next big adventure. And once again, let me say thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. You have a great adventure.